Good evening. It's September the 24th of 2012. I'm David Ortiz. You're watching INFOWARS Nightly News, and here's what we have in store for you tonight.
Tonight, police arrest 9/11 truth sidewalk chalker. But shouldn't they be taking more time to catch the real criminals? And police brutality hits a new low as Houston PD kills wheelchair-ridden, schizophrenic double amputee armed with a pen. And David Ortiz sits down with Libertarian presidential candidate Gary Johnson to discuss the NDAA, torture, the war on drugs, and his lawsuit to be heard in the presidential debates. All this and more on tonight's INFOWARS Nightly News.
Well, third-party presidential candidate Gary Johnson wants to participate in the presidential debates, so much so that he has recently filed an antitrust lawsuit against the Commission on Presidential Debates. According to Mr. Johnson, this organization is illegally prohibiting him from participating in the debates. Now, this organization is extremely secretive. They're very similar to the Federal Reserve in that they have great power over the American public. They get to decide who participates in the presidential debates. Like the Federal Reserve, they consist of only a small group of people who are unelected. And like the Federal Reserve, they rarely give interviews to the public. Mr. Johnson, once again, is saying they are illegally prohibiting him from participating in the debates. And so he has filed an antitrust lawsuit. He expects a decision will take place within the next few weeks prior to the debates. And just so you know, this organization demands that somebody has at least 15%, that somebody be polling at about 15% in several polls to participate in the debates. Obviously, most pundits agree you're not going to hit that threshold unless you can participate in the debates. Most of the public sees you at a debate, and if you don't get to participate at that event, you're not going to hit that threshold. Now, stay tuned, because later on in this news segment, I conducted a one-on-one interview with Gary Johnson. There will be a one-on-one interview with Gary Johnson. I conducted it with him earlier on today. He visited our studios here at INFOWARS, and it's a hard-hitting interview. He talks about this lawsuit that he has filed, as well as many other issues. So stay tuned for that interview. It's a great one. In other news, Iran threatens attacks on U.S. bases in the event of a war. According to a senior commander in Iran's powerful Revolutionary Guard, his name is General Amir Ali Hajizadeh. He heads the Guard's aerospace division. He says an Israeli attack cannot happen without the support of its most important ally, the United States, making all U.S. military bases a legitimate target. Quote, for this reason, we will enter a confrontation with both parties, and we will definitely be at war with American bases should a war break out. The U.S. has facilities in Bahrain, Qatar, and Afghanistan, and according to this general, they would be targeted. There will be no neutral country in the region, the general says. To us, bases are equal to U.S. soil. So there you go. You got a high-ranking Iranian military official saying, look, regardless of what happens, if Israel bombs us, United States, we're coming after you as well. All the more reason why we should not get involved in this ludicrous war. Obviously, we don't cower in fear to the Iranian government. We would decimate them in a military war. However, such a war would cost us billions, possibly trillions of dollars, and it would ultimately kill many Americans. For those that say they're concerned about the fate of Israel, we have supplied Israel with weaponry. We have supplied Israel with military intelligence. They are an ally of ours, and I think that's a good thing. That is my estimation, but it is my estimation Israel must shed its own blood. It is a sovereign nation, and we have armed it well. It must shed its own blood. If, in fact, the Israelis think they are outgunned, they might very well want to consider becoming a U.S. territory. Therefore, they will have a better chance of surviving and not being ambushed. So obviously, they're saying, Iranian officials, if Israel attacks, United States, we're coming after you as well. All the more reason why we shouldn't get involved in that war. In other news, Economic officials overseas are saying that the Federal Reserve has greatly hurt their economy, or they've insinuated that the Federal Reserve has greatly hurt their economy. According to former ECB chief economist, that's European Central Bank chief economist Jürgen Starks, he said in an interview, quote, "The break came in 2010. Until then, everything went well," meaning that the European Central Bank was doing just fine prior to that. Then the ECB began to take on a new role, to fall into panic. Together with the other central banks, meaning the Federal Reserve, the ECB is flooding the market, posing the question not only about how the ECB will get its money back, but also how the excess liquidity created can be absorbed globally. Quote, "It can't be solved by pressing a button. If the global economy stabilizes, the potential for inflation has grown enormously. It gave into outside pressure from outside Europe." So he's obviously talking about other banking organizations, and he's hinting that the Federal Reserve was one of those organizations. What these banking organizations do behind closed doors has truly ruined the world's economy. The Federal Reserve, without the will of the American people, loaned money to European countries, and now the European countries owe us money, and it's just become one colossal failure. As a result, there is likely going to be an economic collapse. Governor Gary Johnson stated that. This is a former governor. He stated later on in the interview that he feels there will be an economic collapse as a result of the banking practices that has occurred. And here's what the president of the Czech Republic has to say regarding the importance of sovereignty and what the banks have done to his nation. He warns that, quote, "Two-faced politicians, including the conservatives," he's meaning conservatives in his country, "have opened the door to an EU superstate by giving up on democracy in a flight from accountability and responsibility to their voters. We need to think about how to restore our statehood and our sovereignty. That is impossible in a federation." So there you go. You've got the president of a country saying, oh my gosh, what did we do? We gave up our sovereignty and we gave it up to banksters. Now our economy is in absolute free fall. It is a very, very sad turn of events. And these are leaders of countries. These aren't political pundits. This is the president of the Czech Republic acknowledging that he has made his country has made a grave mistake. Now, speaking of tyranny, locally in news, in California, a woman by the name of Amy Larson wrote in chalk on the floor, 9/11 Truth and 9/11 Truth Now. As a result of her chalk writing, police arrested her and she was detained. She was held in jail for 30 hours. She says she could have left earlier. However, it would have cost $10,000 to post bail. Now, Ms. Larson is a self-described political activist who had never been arrested. Larson said she was returning from the farmer's market after buying fruits and vegetables when she started writing the statements on the sidewalk. Again, those statements were 9/11 Truth and 9/11 Truth, 9/11 Truth Now. A police officer then stopped to talk to her, then left, she said. "I was never told not to chalk the sidewalk," said Larson, who is married and works in a wine cellar. 5 to 10 minutes later, the officers returned with her boss in an SUV. She was first detained, then arrested for investigation of felony vandalism and booked at the Napa County Jail. Now listen, I don't like vandalism as much as the next person. I actually think it's pretty despicable, but we're talking about chalk. We're talking about chalk. You know, rain or water would take that away. And if you want to be stern, if you don't want your communities to be vandalized, issue her a $500 or a $1,000 fine. I think reasonable people can agree she should not have been thrown in jail like some criminal. Now, officers said that there were 40 other chalk writing incidences throughout the town in previous weeks, and they think that she played a part in that. Ms. Larson disagrees. She said she has not played a part in that at all. It's amazing how people are being arrested for the most silliest of offenses. And later this week, you'll see a story in which me and another INFOWARS reporter visited the Alamo, and officers there said that we, members of the media, could not get within a 200-foot radius of the Alamo to ask residents questions. He said it was overseen by a nonprofit organization, and they get to decide who gets to get close to the property. Absolute tyranny. We've got that on video, and I believe Alex is going to air it on his radio show, possibly in Prison Planet TV later on this week. The tyranny just continues to grow. We're not even allowed to get close to the Alamo, members of the media, without being harassed. In other news, in the state of New Jersey, my home state, New Jersey attempts to strip parental rights with vaccine anti-exemption bill. According to a bill that is in the New York Assembly, it's called Senate Bill 1759. It was approved 6-2 by the Senate's Health, Human Services, and Senior Citizens Committee last week. The bill sponsored by Majority Leader Loretta Weinberg, I know her well, big government lover, big liberal, and Senator Joseph Vitale, would place a greater burden on parents to clarify a, quote, valid reason for not wanting their kids vaccinated. It would define and further restrict what the definition of a valid reason is, limiting options for opting out. Hey, here's my reason. I don't want to do it. Just leave me alone. Now these government officials are saying you need to have more of a valid reason. It's a complete violation of our civil liberties. You can no longer just say, I do not want to be vaccinated. Now you need to have more of a valid reason. And they deem what is valid and what is not. And here's a quote from Senator Vitale, quote, "We cannot allow widespread exemption from immunization based on fear and false science." Absolutely amazing. He's basically saying, even if you're wrong and your facts are wrong, you still don't have the right to be exempted from this. We're going to force you to do this unless you have a great reason. Complete tyranny. And this bill is going to hit the Senate. It's up for a vote in the New Jersey Senate. So if you're a New Jersey resident, as I used to be, call your local legislators and let them know that you think this bill is unpatriotic and should not be passed. Now, speaking of immunizations and 9/11 inside job, there are some wonderful documentaries that we offer on INFOWARSshop.com. Again, that's INFOWARSshop.com. This past weekend, I just saw a wonderful documentary on Monsanto. A couple of days before that, I saw part of A Noble Lie. I plan on completing it. So you've got some wonderful documentaries there. So if you want to see 9/11 Truth, the documentary that Miss Larson saw, obviously Alex is the father of 9/11 Truth, go to InfoWarsShop.com. And if you want to learn more about the dangers of vaccines, InfoWarsShop.com has wonderful documentaries on that, also documentaries on the police state, and wonderful books as well. And we're going to talk a little bit here. We're going to have the daily quote, and it comes from Aristotle, a true patriot. Here's what Mr. Aristotle said. "It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it." That was according to the great philosopher Aristotle.
Sick of the globalist eugenicist control freaks adding poison to your water and laughing as you get sick and die? Start purifying your water with ProPure. My friends, I've done a lot of research, and the best gravity filter out there, bar none, is ProPure. And it's available discounted at InfoWars.com. Its filters are silver impregnated to prevent bacterial growth. There's no priming required. It's NSF 42 certified. Optional fluoride filters can reduce fluoride up to 95%. Easy to set up and use. Doesn't require electricity. Purify water from lakes, streams, ponds, and wells. This filter system leaves in beneficial minerals, which is key. Save money by not buying bottled water and avoid BPA that leaches from the plastic. ProPure is the best gravity-fed filter out there. It's what my family uses. InfoWars.com already has the lowest price on ProPure. But if you add the promo code WATER at checkout, you get an additional 10% off at InfoWars.com. You can also call to order 888-253-3139.